Oh, shit. Ooh. All right, what is going on? Oh, we got Bamtrol in here early. How you doing, bud? Whew. All right. Little live stream show today. It's going to be going on for about 30 minutes. And obviously you guys can watch this back live after the fact. But we're just going to be talking about NFL free agency, NFL draft, kind of regarding the Minnesota Vikings and why I think they have had a fantastic offseason right now. Going live, taking questions from the chat, obviously, and then just kind of talking about the Vikings and where I think they should go from here. Because I think, honestly, Rick Spielman has done a great job. First segment, though, of the show, you got to talk about the Pat Pete signing. You know, the Pat Pete signing, I mean, Bamtro, I'm sure you saw that. You were probably ecstatic. And I'm sure every Viking fan around the nation was pretty ecstatic about that. And honestly, I think the best part about that is just the development of the young guys. You know, the Vikings have a really young defense. And I think people are normally going to say, like, oh, he's definitely going to help Gladney and Dantzler. But you also look at the other side of football. I mean, he could help Olabisi. He could help even Thielen. He could help especially Jefferson keep developing his game. And honestly, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what Pat Pete does for the offense, not just for the X's and O's, or for the defense, not just for the X's and O's, obviously on the field, like what the film will show. But honestly, Pat Pete, you know, I think he's going to add so much more to this team. I think his brain, I think his intelligence, I think just if you add a room when you're coming up with a game plan every week and it's consisted of Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith, obviously Mike Zimmer, Eric Kendricks is a smart guy too. Daniil Hunter understands D-line concepts probably better than anybody right now. But anyways, I think the Pat Pete signing, if I had to give that a grade, it would probably be an A- because I mean, there's really nothing else I can complain. A little expensive than I thought, but you know, Pat Pete, A-. Start that off. Here, we'll go to the chat right now. I see a couple people in there. I think I see Julian. Is that in there? I can't really see off there. I'll pull it up on my phone though. Oh yeah, we got Julian in there. Julian Marker, how you doing? What's up, man? How do you feel about the small Mason Cole trade they made yesterday? Yeah, that was the center they picked up from Arizona yesterday. I mean, I don't know what. Like, listen, I honestly just don't know why Spielman did that, but it's not like I'm upset about it. I mean, I think if we're picking up more lineman depth, it's good. I've heard, and I looked at film from a couple Cardinals fans that, Mason Cole is not that good. He is not that good, apparently. I mean, I watched a couple clips on him, Mason Cole. I mean, obviously, he only went for a 6-rounder. He obviously played more of a center position, but honestly, does not look that good. Does not look that promising that the Vikings did pick up Mason Cole for a 6th. But, I mean, honestly, it's a 6-round pick. I mean, normally Spielman just dumps those anyways. So, I mean, I'll take them. I mean, I'll take any interior lineman depth that you will give me at this point. David the boy in the chat, he says, what's up? How you guys doing? Yeah, in the chat, man. Any questions you guys got about Vikings offseason, Vikings free agency, get them out now. You guys can watch this back later on YouTube. There's a perfect one right there, Julian. Perfect segue, because that's actually what I want to talk about. Daniil Hunter, D Hunt. You know, Daniil Hunter's been one of my favorite players on the Vikings for 5 years or so now. Remember him as a freshman or a rookie coming out of LSU, and I was like, this guy looks like he's created out of a lab. I mean, you see his long arms, how strong, how chiseled like his whole body is, and I don't know, paying Daniil Hunter. I don't know. Listen, right now, I would not pay Daniil Hunter if I was Rick Spielman. I would say, listen, you're coming off a major neck injury, and I don't think he has leverage on us, considering the cap is down to only $182 million, and I just don't think he would have leverage on the Vikings to get a contract extension. Obviously, he's a stud. I'm not saying that. I think he's a top 5 edge in the league. I mean, and if he hits his peak, he could be a top 3, top 5, or top 3, even the top edge in his class, in the damn NFL. And he probably looks around at guys like Bosa and everybody getting like this huge pay. and he's probably a little upset about it. So, I mean, I get why Danielle Hunter would be upset because he probably views himself as a top 5 edge, and I view him as that too, and he's not getting paid. But also, he's got to understand he's coming off a neck injury. For those big boys, a neck injury is fairly serious. I mean, you never want to mess around with anything above the shoulders, whether it's neck, head injuries. I mean, those things are you have to take him seriously. I wouldn't pay him yet, but definitely if he has a good year where he rips off 15, 16 sacks, you definitely have to pay him. Extend and lower his cap hit, says Joanne. Yeah, that's the thing I was also thinking, like with all these other teams, like how they're able to manipulate the cap and everything. I mean, I think the Vikings have $8 million in cap right now, which you probably normally you spend around $5 million on the draft. So they'll still probably have $3 million for this year. But if you could restructure something where he only ends up let's just say Hunter ends up only making like $3 million on the cap this year, but you give him like a $25 million signing bonus and you extend him for, let's just say 4 for, I don't know how much you would want, 4 for 90. But then again, the following year, you would get into a lot of problems because I think Kirk Cousins, anybody in the chat know what his cap hit is? I believe it's around $45 million. I mean, does anybody in the chat know what Cousins is going to hit on the cap next year? Because it's definitely in the 40s because he definitely had the 45 Bamtro. That's what you're saying? Yeah, that's disgusting. So that's where you get in that weird, like, hey, if we extend Danielle, but we push off his contract to next year, but then you look at next year and Cousins is making 45. God, that's terrible. Jose says more than he should. Yep. 100%. $45 million. That is tough. Samuel says, if Mason Cole is depth piece, okay, but to start, I just can't see it. Need to bring in some beef. Great. I love that. Athletic is great, but not if you're ready to get blown off the ball every pass play. Yeah. See, like having athletic linemen, I don't know why the Vikings are obsessed with having an athletic lineman compared to like adding some beef on the old line. I mean, athletic linemen, this is just what I've thought from watching football my whole life and playing football. Athletic linemen are great on first and second down. First and second down when it comes to pulling guards, pulling centers, pulling tackles, get those big boys out there moving who are freak athletes. I love it. But Vikings fans, as we saw in this past year, when it's 3rd and 1, or let's just say it's 3rd and 7 and we're passing, the offensive line just gets blown off the ball. And especially when it's 3rd and 1, how bad were the Vikings on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 this season? It's because of the beef on the offensive line. I completely agree with that comment. I mean, I think Mason Cole, listen, if he's a depth piece, love it. But if the Vikings plan on moving him to left guard or some bull jive like that, I mean, I'm going to be a little pissed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would be a lot if Mason Cole ended up starting for us. I would really not like that. Here we go. David the Boy says, is it a good move to get Eric Fisher? Eric Fisher, Kansas City Chiefs. I believe Eric Fisher was the number 1 overall pick back in 2013. Listen, I feel like if we're going to bring in Eric Fisher, it would be very similar to how we brought in Pat Pete. I wouldn't sign him to a multiple-year deal considering he's had injuries and he's getting up there in age. Obviously, he's an unreal talent. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick for a reason. However, I would, if they would go get Eric Fisher, I mean, I would be pretty happy about it. But I would want it to be on a 1-year, $7-8 million deal. You're going to have linemen that are both athletic and tough. Just look at Jason Kelce. Yeah, I mean, obviously you will get guys like Kelce who come out every once in a while and they're just natural freaks and beefy. However, the Vikings just seem to fall into the problem where it's either like Phil Lodeholt. If you guys remember Phil Lodeholt, our old right tackle, he was just straight beef. He was straight beef. And, he didn't really have any of the athleticism in him. But now it seems like the Vikings have fallen into a problem where it's just strictly athleticism and not enough beef on the whole line. I completely, totally agree with that. Bamtro says we got to pay Brian O'Neill next year also. We are keeping him no matter what. Yes, I agree with that. Brian O'Neill, I think Brian O'Neill was one of the linemen last year that kind of got flown under the radar of having a pretty awful year. He was obviously not like as bad as the left guard position or whoever was in there, whether it was Dozier or Samia. But Brian O'Neill had he struggled a little bit this past year, but I definitely agree we got to pay him. But I mean, I don't know. Brian O'Neill, I got to see something from him this year because 2 years ago when we made the playoffs versus the Saints, he was incredible that year. I mean, he was a top tackle in the league. He still is a top tackle in the league, in my opinion. I just think he had an off year because the whole team had an off year. I'm not really that concerned about it, but there's definitely some bad tape on him from this past year, which is getting thrown around. Go watch tape from Mason Cole. He's a natural guard. Yeah, I was who's it? From DeSoto. Yeah, I was watching tape on Mason Cole. He's a little undersized, but he's definitely a natural guard. I would agree with that. But then again, I'm kind of sick of the Vikings bringing in these guards that look like garden gnomes, where they're just like these small, beefy guards that like to run around and they can't really got no beef in them. I want some beef from the O-line. I want some beef. I want some physical presence. I want the Raiders, what he did last year. That's what I want. Julian says, wonder if we'll sign Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson's most likely out the door. I would assume he's out the. I don't think Eric Wilson's going to come back on a 1-year, $3 million deal. I really doubt that, but that's all we could really give him because we have about $8 million in cap space right now. I don't really see anybody restructuring, and unless it's through a trade or obviously restructure, but also you spend around $5 million for the cap this year on rookies. So Eric Wilson most likely out the door. So Vikings, hey, you guys start looking at linebackers in the 4th, 5th round area, or else we're gonna have to start. Who's the guy we picked up from the Bengals? White linebacker Nick Virgil or something like that. He might have to get some reps, but I don't know. If Vikings don't make the playoffs, is Zimmer gone? Yeah, I feel like if they miss out on the playoffs this year, Zimmer and Spielman are both gone. Jordan Marker says Brett Jones. Yeah, I'm hoping the Brett Jones era is done in Minnesota. That name's been being thrown around. Honestly, listen, if he wants to come and be a backup, I'll take him. I just don't want these small guard centers anymore. I think we got too many of them. Jose says, I honestly don't watch college football a lot. Any interesting names to hope for in the draft? Okay, so the names I'm kind of looking at, Gregory Rousseau, he's an edge from Miami. I would like him. There is also there's a tackle from USC, but he's listed as a guard. He played tackle last year at USC, and he's naturally a guard. He's got like 3, I think it's like, oh my God, I'm sleeping on his name right now. But if you look him up, he's supposed to go in the top 15 around where the Vikings are. I'd love for him to take him because, listen, he is a big boy who can move. He's exactly what you were saying, or somebody who said about Jason Kelsey. He is a big, athletic, tough guy who can move. Obviously, the Pac-12, though, doesn't – AVT. You guys drilled it. Yeah, Tucker. This guy, I was watching tape on him. He is fantastic. Yes, the Pac-12 doesn't have that many good edge rushers. If you guys understand, the Pac-12, the edge game in the Pac-12 is not that exciting. So obviously he's not going against top competition. But however, he's really good. I love him. And then obviously you guys know Slater from Northwestern. The Vikings have been reported to be looking to trade up. Kuiper in his last mock draft had the Vikings selecting the tackle from Oregon, Seau. And honestly, I feel like if they are going to trade up in the draft, I would go try to get Slater. I feel like Slater could possibly fall to them at 9 if they traded with Denver. And if you go get Slater and you put him, let's just say they run him at left tackle. I'll feel pretty good about 4 of the 5 offensive line positions, and then you got pretty much offense geared up. Yes, you wouldn't have a left guard, but then again, like Kirk Cousins, like he's got to prove to us that the whole thing with Kirk right now for me is the Vikings have so much talent around him, and the whole excuse is just like O-line. There's a part of me that just wants the Vikings to just go all in on the offensive line and actually see what Kirk Cousins is. So if they would go trade up for an offensive lineman that's a top 10 pick, I think that will really expose who Kirk Cousins truly is as a quarterback, and we'll be able to see everything way more clear than we do. David the Boy says we still don't have a starting kicker. You know what? That was funny. I was talking about that with my friends yesterday because we were talking about, I think the Bears signed Cairo Santos to a pretty good deal because he had a great year. And I was just thinking, the Vikings still don't have a damn kicker. And I was like, if kicking and O-line are a problem this year and we don't make the playoffs, Zimmer's done for me. He has to be done. kicking and O-line has been Zimmer's problem since he got here. So Bamtro says Mel Kiper is like a pigeon. He doesn't think a lot. Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, nobody on ESPN thinks. That's why you guys come and watch me talk Vikings, because I wonder if ESPN even knows, like, if the Vikings, like, if they even signed Pat Pete or if they've done anything this offseason. They just get no attention on there. What are your real expectations for this upcoming season? How would you feel if we ended up winning another playoff game but then getting smoked again? It's a good question. That's coming from Jaden Berry. All right, so my expectations, I'll start with that for the Vikings this year. Listen, I don't want this to come off as like me being like a homer, because I feel like I try to keep it pretty level on this channel. Obviously, I let my homer come out of me every once in a while, but I think they're going to be solid. I mean, listen, so if you look at the offense last year, I'm just going to start there. You look at the offense, they were top 10 in about every category. I mean, it was a good offense. Have to clear some stuff up, though, on the O-line. But the offense, if the offense remains the same, I'm fine. If they are top 10 in scoring, top 10 in yards, I will be perfectly fine with that. The problem was with the defense. And if you look at the Vikings defense last year, I said this, if you look week 15 and beyond, look at that starting 11 they put out there. It is going to be a complete overhaul. No more Anthony Harris. He's cut. He had a terrible year last year. He said it wasn't effort. I think it was effort, and I think he just isn't that good. I think his 7 interceptions were very opportunistic. Whatever. Losing Anthony Harris, I view that as a positive. We do need to shore up the safety position, though. Adding in Pat Pete, Pro Bowler. Adding in Eric Kendricks, All-Pro. Adding in Daniil Hunter, wasn't ever an All-Pro, but an All-Pro talent. Adding in a Michael Pierce, never have gotten a Pro Bowl or All-Pro, but he's a Pro Bowl talent. Adding in an Anthony Barr, multiple-time Pro Bowler. Adding in a Dalvin Thompson, who is frankly one of the most up-and-coming run stuffers in the league, and he's young, good contract, he plays his ass off. Then you also look at guys like the development guys. You look at Cameron Dantzler, you look at Jeff Gladney, you look at DJ Wonnum, even a guy like James Lynch, who we kind of forget about. There is a ton of talent on this defense. And if they could just get it together a little bit and roll out that starting 11 with 5 to 6 Pro Bowlers coming in from injuries, opt-outs, and free agency, I mean, my expectations are feeling good. I think they can make the playoffs with how the roster is now. I got to see the draft. I got to see how everything else works out in the division. But, hey, I'm going to ask this in the chat right now. This is my question for the chat, because I was thinking about this. Besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are you scared of in the NFC? Is there a team for you guys? Besides, like, let's just say it's the playoffs. Besides Tampa Bay, with this team, with how it is right now, who are you really that intimidated by? Because I couldn't really, like, even Green Bay, like, I know they're in our division, but I'm not that, like, I don't think the talent gap between us and Green Bay is that huge. And you look around the NFC East, I'm not really scared of anybody in the NFC East. Cowboys, Washington, whatever. Nobody there, I think we would be the best team in that division. Look at the other teams in the Tampa Bay division. I mean, the Saints are going to be a mess. Falcons will be a mess. Panthers will be a mess. Panthers will, I don't know. I mean, not messes, but they won't be good. You look at the NFC West. Oh, the NFC West, it's so good. The only team I'm really concerned about from there is San Fran. Seattle's got all that bullshit going on up there with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. The Cardinals, I think that's a lot of smoke. I think, yes, they've made great moves by adding J.J. Watt, but he's getting paid way too much. And listen to me, Kyler Murray, I know he came on the scene last year and he was great. And I don't know if he got hurt a little bit, but I think defenses kind of caught up to Kyler a little bit and kind of learned how to defend him. And honestly, I don't think Kingsbury is that – I don't think he's that good of a coach. The Rams, I would probably say the Rams, Packers, and us probably fall in that 2-4 range in the NFC right now for me. I think we're all kind of in the same area, but there's really nobody else I'm scared of. So my advice to Rick Spielman, you got a chance to actually go make a run this year, mainly because the NFC is kind of a dumpster fire right now besides Tampa Bay. Go be aggressive in this draft. Go be aggressive right now with who's left in free agency. That's what I would do. But, yeah, so you guys – oh, you're not even scared of Tampa Bay? I don't know. Tampa Bay still scares me a little bit. Anytime Brady's still in the league, I'm going to be a little scared because I don't know what it is. He just wins. I mean, I don't care how wrong the game goes for his team. They'll end up winning. Jose says James Lynch is going to have a breakout year. Man, I hope so. Because, listen, I mean, with how good our D-line, I think, can be this year, I think he'll be definitely getting backup reps. But if he could be a really kind of like what Ifedi, if you guys remember Ifedi 2 years ago when he had like 7 sacks, that's who we need like DJ Wonham or James Lynch to be. Like, that's who they need to come in and try to like have a year. Like, Bamtro says we can beat Tampa since we don't have a Dan Sucking Bailey. Yeah, I know. That was I remember that game last year. That was kind of the end of the line for me with Bailey. Thank God he's gone though. Thank God he's gone. Oof, I got to go back to school. David, thank you for when you have a lunch break in between classes right now. Appreciate you stopping by. The stream's going to be wrapping up in about 9 minutes anyways, because I actually have to go back to school too. I got classes I got to attend. But yeah, seriously, I mean, what do you guys think right now? Vikings expectations. If you guys have one move to make right now, you got one move. You're Rick Spielman. You got all the control. You get to make one move, whether it's drafting or trading up for somebody or trading for another player in the league. What would your one move be? My one move, if I had to pick one move and I was Rick Spielman, one move if I was Rick Spielman, my one move would probably be trading up to get Slater. I think that would be my mood. Or my move would probably just be like going all in on this Slater guy from Northwestern. I mean, this dude is an absolute freak of nature. But that's what I would do. Oh, Julian, you're saying Orlando Brown? Orlando Brown would be a nice move. Get a vet in. I mean, Orlando Brown's one of the best linemen he might be one of the best linemen of all time. And that's not even like, I mean, there are some smart lineman coaches in the NFL that literally say Orlando Brown might be one of the best tackles of all time. Oh, that'd be good. Go get Orlando Brown. What would you give up? Is Orlando Brown getting next year's second round pick? Bring Orlando Brown in? Might be. So what's the kicking situation? I haven't really been paying attention. Are we gonna go get that YouTuber destroying? Are we getting him? Wyatt Davis up for discussion. Round 2. I would love it if we got Wyatt Davis. We got to get a second round pick, but if we could somehow get Wyatt Davis from Ohio State in round 2, big guard, love it. Bamtro, you said Slater. Then if Kirk sucks, Rick and Zim will go out the door with him. Yeah, man. I mean, that'll be crazy. If this year goes wrong, Kirk, Rick, and Mike all out the door. How do you feel about the Orlando Brown trade? Or how do you feel about Orlando Brown trade? Says Say Firm. I don't know. The soda. Oh, I know who you are, though. I've seen your name before. I mean, it really depends what we would give up. I mean, if we give up a second round pick for Orlando Brown, I'm not going to be mad. Like, I'm not going to be mad at all. So, Zimmer is at BYU's Pro Day. Is that confirmed? Listen, if the Vikings if you guys are going to go trade up and try to go get Zach Wilson, I will literally love you guys for that. I mean, go get Zach Wilson. I mean, if you're at BYU's Pro Day, Zim. Like, Mike Zimmer was there, not just like a scout. Like, we had Mike Zimmer there. Because if it was like a scout, like, I mean, I think like every team would have. Ooh. Well, to get Zach Wilson, this would require us probably trading with Atlanta at 4 and kind of praying. But that's definitely a good sign. Oh, Spielman was? That's still even. I mean, even if we have Spielman there, he's definitely. I mean, what else would he be looking at? Does BYU have any other prospects? Or is Spielman trying to get another quarterback? Okay, so Spielman was there. Yeah, Bamtro, we would probably have to move up to the 2 slot. Probably to get the Jets. I don't know. Oh, so here's a video we're going to make. I don't know if you guys know, I room with a Chicago Bears fan. And we're going to be doing like the top 20 picks in the draft. And we're just going to be going back and forth. So like I'll get the number 1 pick. He'll get the number 2 pick. I'll get the even picks. He'll get the odd picks. And we'll kind of go back and forth with each other. Kind of make it seem more realistic, like it is draft day. We each get like 30 seconds. So, I mean, I think that'll be fun because I think it's more realistic. Because like when I'm sitting here and I could be like, okay, I'm gonna have Trevor going here, I'm gonna have him going here, I'm gonna have him going here. It's not like as realistic until you have like, oh shit, the Jets just took Kyle Pitts at number 2. Now we got to adjust or something like that. Oh shit, there's a trade. You know how it is. Yeah, the Wolf Man. Yeah, exactly. You guys actually, there you go. Julian, I'm impressed with you right now. Real OG, Julian. Smart man. Smart man, Julian, in the chat. Smart guy. Good memory. Good memory. Really good memory. It's impressive. But then anyways, I am going to be doing so tomorrow I'm going to be working on a rebuilding Madden franchise Vikings mode. I finally got this thing hooked up. I've been trying to get this. I was trying to get this thing hooked up to have these like Madden videos and where I could like rebuild the Vikings like through their like GM mode or whatever it is. Like, I don't know what's I normally only play Ultimate Team when it comes to Madden, but I was like, hey, I could hop on there, get some realistic trades for us. See how the Vikings win the Vikings a Super Bowl, because maybe I have to if Spielman and Zimmer ain't. So if that's something you guys want to see, just let me know. I'm going to probably work on that video tomorrow because I think they'll take a little longer to make. What would you trade to get up to number 2 overall pick? Ooh, what would I trade? Obviously, our first round. I think you would have to give that up. You would probably need to give another first round pick. I don't think the Jets would. I mean, unless you give them like next year's second, and then like next year's third, and then like this year's, it would probably be like a first, 2 seconds, or like a first, a second, and 2/3, or first and a first. But if we give up like our 14th pick and our first round pick next year, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I mean, if we were getting Zach Wilson, or if we were getting like Slater with the number 2 pick, I'd give up a first. I mean, I don't really care. Like, picks are worth it in the NFL, but also like, there's such a difference between great and good in the NFL right now. And a guy like Slater from Northwestern, a guy like Zach Wilson, I got those two so high on my board where I would give up our pick this year and our pick next year to trade with the New York Jets to get up there. But that's just me. I would be very aggressive to get the number 2, because I think this draft is pretty. I think it's like the top 15 guys. That's it. Oh, here's a question for you guys. We were actually thinking about this. Micah Parsons. So obviously Eric Wilson's not going to come back. And I know the linebacker position is not something we like drastically need. And like, I get that. But this Micah Parsons guy, this linebacker, I just have a feeling if he's there at 14, I don't think Mike Zimmer would be able to resist. I'm not saying they should go get a linebacker in the first round. But if Micah Parsons, not Pearsons, if Micah Parsons is there, the man just ran a 4.39 yesterday at his pro day, and he's a linebacker. Like, I'm serious. I don't think Zimmer would be able to say no to this. I think he would 100% take Micah Parsons, and I don't think he would think about it twice. Which also, I swear to God, there's this corner from South Carolina. I don't know his name, but he had an absolute amazing pro day, and he is the typical Mike Zimmer corner. I could really see Mike Zimmer taking him and having us run out 4 corners who I would feel pretty confident in. I just have a feeling the Vikings aren't going to take O-line or D-line with the first round pick, and it's going to absolutely drive me mad. But also, if we would get Micah Parsons, though, I don't know if you guys know who this is, linebacker, Penn State, freak athlete, very similar to Isaiah Simmons, who was at Clemson and went 7th for the Cardinals. He's just a playmaker. I mean, you could run him at safety. He's more of a true linebacker than Isaiah Simmons, but I mean, the linebacking this year is it is deep, and there's some good linebackers in here. Was it J.C. Horn? It might have been J.C. Horn. I forget his name. He's from South Carolina, though. I was watching his pro day. But, yeah, Zimmer's drawn to defensive prospects like a moth is drawn to a lamp. Yeah, I mean, how funny is it that, like, all of the moves we made this offseason, defense, and then Clint Kubiak, he gets his one backup center from Arizona. But Mike gets to bring back Daniil Hunter, Pat Pete, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Dalvin Tomlinson, Michael Pierce. I mean, Nick Virgil. We could throw him in there. Backup linebacker, Nick Virgil. He's going to have a great year. That would actually be pretty funny if Nick Virgil has a good year. Channel update. the Vikings play in Cincinnati this upcoming year. I'm going to be at the game, and we'll be vlogging it, tailgating it. So look out for that. Tampa Bay, I go there in 3 weeks, home of the Super Bowl. I'm going to probably need to run into Tom Brady, hopefully. That'll be absolutely hilarious. But we'll be vlogging those days. Football on the beach, just hanging out. I feel like it'd be fun for you guys to, adapt this a little bit since this is kind of like the dead period in the NFL. And then we're going to be right in the draft stuff. Live stream for the entire draft. I'll be giving my live reactions to whoever the hell the Vikings trade up for, pick at 14, or trade back, whatever they may do. And then I'm going to be trying to do Madden franchise coming up. There's a lot of thoughts I have going on in the head just because it's off season. I feel like you guys kind of get sick of the same. I feel like I've been saying the same thing for 2 months. The Vikings just need to draft O-line and D-line, and then we'll be very good. And so I'm going to be trying to switch it up a little bit. But anyways, we'll leave this with this. Who would you guys take? Everybody in the chat right now. Vikings don't trade up. 14th overall pick. Who are you guys taking? 14th overall pick. Who do you guys have in mind? Would it be, you could even just say a position. Would you just say O-line, D-line? But what if Devontae Smith is there? Who would you guys go? Yep, it was Horm. All right, Sammy. Yeah, that's what I was making sure. Slater's who you're going with. Oh yeah, Tucker Parsons. Oh, Jaden, you're going Parsons. You're gonna go linebacker. I like it. I like Tucker. I like Tucker out of USC. That's who I would go to. I like Tucker because Tucker could actually be there at 14. Slater. Oh man, if Slater's there at 14 and Vikings pass up on him, I'll be pissed. Shada Young says O-line. Yeah, I gotta agree. Jose, interior O-line. See, it's like we got all the answers. Like we all know. Like we are intelligent football fans. We are intelligent football fans. Shada Young, Devontae Smith. I've seen that float around. I've seen that floating in the Twitter and the mock draft area that the Vikings got him drafting Devontae Smith, which honestly I would not be too upset about. Be a little weird. But I would not be too pissed about it. Originally, I would be really mad if they took a receiver. But now looking at it, I think if they took a receiver, it would hopefully force them to pass the ball more, which I would love. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be that mad at Devontae Smith. I'll be shocked. I mean, I'll be shocked if they took a receiver, but wouldn't be that upset. Wouldn't be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, if they take a fucking receiver, I'll be a little pissed. I would love to trade down and get a second and then take oh yeah. I was hearing it and not worry about a safety, but that's drafting for need. Yeah, I mean, I think the Vikings are definitely they're gonna have to find the good balance of taking the best prospect. Like if Micah Parsons is there, but then if like all the good old linemen are there, it's gonna be like draft the best prospect or draft your need. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm always leaning towards best prospect. I always lean towards draft the best player on the board. Like if the team lays down their board and they got like a dude who is supposed to go 6th on their board and that's at 14, even though they don't need like let's just say a linebacker or a receiver or a safety technically, like then you take him. But I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys honestly so much for coming. I got to get to class very soon. Daily, you guys can watch this back. It'll be posted right up to YouTube. You guys can see your name in the chat and everything. I think it's pretty cool. We do have super chats now available. It's a good way you guys can support me. Obviously, you don't need to. I do this for fun. We talk football. What's better than that? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this little live stream. You guys can watch it back. Have a good day. All of you, Samuel, have a good day too. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Skol Vikes. More live streams coming soon. Lot coming for the channel. We're going to take over this YouTube stuff, man. Don't worry about it. All right. See y'all next time. Who is that? Who just said F and Skol? Love you. F and Skol too. I think that's up for productions. All right. See you guys later.